Mother?
Well, I rang your office, and they said that you hadn't been in, so I assumed that you and George had decided to call off the decree absolute and were out celebrating. Well, I do hope all's well.
Oh, yes, Mother, all's well, thank you.
Oh, Susie, I'm delighted.
George and I are divorced.
Well, there you are. What?
Yeah, the decree absolute went through, and now I can call my life my own again.
But, darling, I thought yesterday you were both determined to call off the decree absolute.
Yes, well, we got there too late for that. It was George's fault. So we had a screaming row right in the middle of the divorce registry, and then we both went our separate ways.
Oh, well, perhaps it's all for the best. There was always something about George I never quite cared for.
Sorry about that, Mum.
Susie, what is that terrible noise?
That is George singing.
Singing?
Yes, it's his bathroom baritone. Not only is he tone deaf, but he never gets the words right. Listen. See what I mean? Just a minute. George, will you please be quiet? My mother is on the telephone.
What's wrong? Can't you afford an armchair, then?
You are drunk.
Not particularly, but I don't think it's going to take very long.
How disgusting.
All right, sorry. Good evening, mother-in-law.
George!
It's all right. If you think I'm half-cut, mother-in-law, you're wrong, because I'm totally cut.
George, will you...
I'm going to celebrate Independence Day, so stuff that in your engagement book and smoke.
Get out! Go on.
Susie? Susie? Speak to me, Susie. Susie.
Yeah, it's all right, Mother.
Susie, are you all right?
Yes, of course I am. Why?
It sounded as if he was half killing you.
He's just been drinking.
Oh, good heavens, I've never heard such a noise. How long's he been an alcoholic?
Since his stag party, roughly.
Free again. Lucky, lucky me again. Shut up, I'm drinking. Hello.
Hello, George.
Oh, hello, ma'am.
Your father and I just wanted to know what had happened. We couldn't get you at the office. Today was the day, wasn't it?
Well, the decree absolute. Absolutely right, ma'am. And it went through absolutely without a hitch.
You're divorced? But when I spoke to you yesterday...
Yeah, I know. I did have hopes, ma'am, but they were cruelly dashed, you know. Like so many of my other hopes have been cruelly dashed.
Well, I hate to remind you, but your father and I never really fancied Susie, did we?
Dad did.
You are.
Fancied the bottom, didn't he?
Really?
Sorry, just laughing through my tears, ma'am.
How dare you insult my mother?
Who's that?
It's Susie. I think she's been drinking, ma'am.
Now listen to me. I don't want to see you again or hear you again or have anything whatsoever to do with you again, ever.
She has been drinking, yeah.
We are finished, totally finished. And to prove that I mean what I say, here's something I should have done 2 years ago. Take that!
Oh! Oh!
George! What happened? George!
I'm all right, ma'am.
What happened?
Nothing.
Did she throw something at you?
Yeah, but don't worry about it, love.
Well, are you hurt? George!
Just a bit dazed, ma'am. Don't worry, I'm going to make myself a nice strong cup of tea, love.
Well, look, you ring us later.
Yes, all right, ma'am.
And, George, remember your bedroom is always ready for you.
Oh, well, that's a great comfort, that, ma'am.
Well, bye-bye, dear.
Bye-bye. Love to Dad, ma'am. Don't think you're the only one who can make the grand gesture, because you're not. Not by a long chalk, you're not. It's a fine bloody ring you gave me, isn't it? It's bloody shrunk! medicine chest. She's got the bloody medicine chest.
I thought I told you that I did not wish to see you again.
All right, we're finished. Like you say, we are totally finished.
Then why are you on my doorstep?
I've cut my hand.
I don't care if you've cut your throat. How did you do that?
Making a sandwich.
Go and sit down, George. Oh, George, that's quite deep.
Yeah, it was a hacksaw, you see.
For sandwiches.
I won't get lockjaw, will I?
I think you need a stitch.
Look, I don't need a stitch, honestly. Just give me the bandages and the iodine, will you?
George, it's in a very nasty place. I think you're going to have to go to hospital.
Oh, you know, I can't stand the smell of hospitals, darling.
Just the outpatients.
I know, just the outpatients. That's where all the germs and the car accidents are. Just bandages and iodine. Just give me those, will you?
I cannot give you a tetanus injection.
An injection? Oh.
George, honestly, you're worse than a 2-year-old. Right now, I'm going to put the iodine on. Do you want to turn your head away?
Okay.
You ready? Right. All right?
That's fine.
That's very good.
I don't want to go traipse. Traipsing off to hospitals. I've got a bottle of champagne going flat next door.
All right, but that's right. Don't come to me in half an hour mumbling.
Mumbling?
Because your jaw's locked. Right then, off you go.
Off I go where?
Where you like, it's your bloodstream.
I wish you'd choose your words a bit more carefully.
What, bloodstream?
I just don't like to know what's going on inside of me, that's all.
Quite frankly, George, if you don't get that hand to the hospital, there won't be anything going on inside you.
All right. Come on, then.
What do you mean, come on?
To the hospital.
I'm not going with you.
Oh. Oh, it's just driving, you know. I feel a bit faint now.
It's less than a mile, George. You'll be perfectly all right.
Yeah, well, I can't change gear with this hand.
Your car's an automatic.
I've not been drinking. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Barry.
George, this is not a resumption of friendly relations.
No, of course not.
When we get back from the hospital, it's to be as though this had never happened.
It never happened. All right. I told you, didn't I? Germs and car accidents.
Now what is
It's
it?
just that hospital smell is getting
George,
on my...
would you just go and get your name on the list?
Cut my hand a bit.
Name?
Bassett. Don't write it down.
In my opinion, he needs a stitch, possibly an injection.
Honestly, the iodine is
Christian
beginning
name?
to... I can wave my hand. Look at that. I can bend the fingers.
His name is George Bassett, number 2, Cops Cottages, Willington.
Thank you, Mrs. Bassett. Oh, I presume you are Mrs. Bassett.
Yes?
Patient's wife?
No.
No.
Ex-wife.
Religion, Mr. Bassett?
Pardon? I've only cut my hand, you know. Just start sending for priests. Look, I didn't have to come here in the Church of England.
I have never been so ashamed in all my life. Never.
All right.
All that squealing and yelling.
I don't know whether you noticed, but that needle practically came out the other side of my arm, you know that.
There was a small boy having his broken arm set, and he was looking at you with contempt in his eyes.
He didn't have to have the iodine as well, did he?
Total embarrassment, the whole episode. All the nurses whispering and sniggering.
Well, that was your fault. You told him we were divorced.
Thank you for reminding me.
Am I allowed one last word?
It depends on the word.
It's thanks, actually.
Well, I hope you'll be better soon.
Thanks again.
Right.
I don't suppose I could interest you in a glass of flat champagne, could I?
No, I don't think so.
Just to toast the future, you know, to your Mr. Right. Right.
No, thank you.
And help you find that ring.
I don't want it.
I mean, you made the gesture. You might as well have it back, eh?
No, thanks.
Not to wear it, of course, not to wear it. To, you know, melt it down and flog it.
No, thank you, George.
If I find it, I'll sling it in that field.
You wouldn't.
I would.
All this is to get me into that cottage, George, and I am not falling for it.
So you don't mind if the ring goes into that field?
You won't do it.
Out in the cold? After 8 years on a warm finger? Catching a bad dose of mildew?
I don't care, George.
You don't care? It cost me a fortune, that ring did.
All right, then, you flog it.
At a time when I could least afford it.
You'll get a lot more for it now,
It
won't
was
you?
a token of my love. But I mean, so I didn't stint, did I, darling?
What am I doing, George?
I mean it. I'll chuck it, you know.
All right, then, chuck it!
Right, I will chuck it. It's been lost, you know, in that field, and you'll never find it in the long grass, Susie. Are you listening? Right. I bloody well will. Where's the bloody thing? I've got it, Susie. I've got it in my hand, and it's going this minute, right? I'm going to chuck it into that field right now. All right? Hey? Right. It's gone, Susie. She'll go and get it. Of course she will. Come on, Susie. Come on. Come and get it. Come on, you cow. That ring will be worth a fortune now. Well, I'm not going to let it go green. I bloody well will sell it. That's marvellous, darling. Thanks a lot. That's splendid. Don't you worry any more. Well, you wouldn't worry, would you? Because you've washed your hands of me. Well, that's... Thanks for being a good Samaritan, and I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Well, good night, George.
Good night, darling. Sleep well. Don't worry too much. Oh. Oh. Oh.
George, it's like living next door to a branch of the Spanish Inquisition.
No, so it just keeps catching me now and again. I'll try and stuff a handkerchief in my mouth.
Shh.
Thanks a lot, darling. Now off you go, because we've got to start leading separate lives, like you said.
Are you sure you're all right, George?
Yeah, really. Look, any more groans, just turn the radio up a bit more.
Oh, don't be so silly.
Yeah, just for the next half hour while I cook my supper, because it could be a bit noisy, that. It'll be a bit tricky, this. One arm, one leg, still. I don't suppose I've got much of an appetite. Now, off you go, darling, and thanks a lot.
I'll cook your supper for you, George.
Look, darling, I can manage perfectly well, thank you. Oh.
What do you want?
Look, I'm perfectly capable of grinning and bearing it, you know.
Oh, yes, there's been a lot of grinning and bearing it this evening, hasn't there, George? What do you want?
Well, that's jolly decent of you, darling. Just a, you know, a quick snack will do.
Well, eggs, sausages, bacon, tomatoes, what?
Oh, yeah, yes, please.
What?
Eggs, bacon and tomatoes. That'll be fine. I just remembered I didn't eat today.
Neither did I.
Oh, well, I tell you what, look, why don't you join me for supper?
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome, darling.
Look, George, just be quiet, will you? I'm concentrating.
Sorry. I always cut the tomatoes in half.
I'm doing that, George.
Good. Bacon not too frizzled. Susie?
What?
You couldn't pour me a scotch, could you?
No, I could not.
Well, it might help, you know.
Help what?
This throbbing. Thanks a lot, Dad. That's marvellous. Any soda? Sorry. Yeah, don't hang about because I'll go and pour. Oh, it's all right, Dad. Thanks.
And if you say that I drowned it, George...
No, it's fine. No, you were always a nifty pourer, weren't you? My goodness me, this takes me back, darling. Times when I used to come home from work and have that first drink. Do you remember? You'll be cooking in the kitchen. And not just bacon and eggs. Like, watch the bacon, will you? No, the special things you used to cook for me, darling, what were they? And I'd ask you what it was, and you'd say it's a surprise, and pour that first drink for me. Do you still cook those marvellous meals? Kebab, and spare ribs. You know, I can still taste those spare ribs, darling. Yes, you certainly beat the Chinese at their own game there. You cook them for yourself? Now you're on your own, do you? No, I suppose not. Pity to get out of practice.
I know this floor, George. Tried it so many times before. Now, look, this morning happened, and we can't turn the clock back, so try and consider my feelings, would you, and try and see that what I'm doing is the best thing for both of us.
Yes, all right, darling, sorry.
Well, if you want any help, George, I'll give it to you, but please try not to ask, because it doesn't make things any easier.
So, yes, I won't ask any more, darling.
Thank you, George.
Oh, that's marvellous. Couldn't just slice the bacon up for me, could you? You're right, you know, I was trying it on just now. Well, not completely, because the memories are genuine. I mean, they mean a lot to me, don't they?
They mean a lot to me, George. That's the trouble.
Yes, I know they do.
So don't remind me anymore,
Sorry,
will you not?
Sorry.
And in answer to an earlier question, no, I don't cook kebabs and spare ribs anymore, because just the smell of them makes me want...
Darling, what has he done to you? What? Oh, I was so worried, and I had every right to be. No. George drunk and you defenceless. What has he done?
Nothing, Mother, really.
If he has touched a hair of your head.
No, he
Well, he's done something to upset you, the drunken wretch. Is he in?
Mother, look, just a minute.
He is. You've got to think what he did to you this morning wasn't enough. But this evening, he has the nerve to come in here and...
Mrs. Lonsdale?
Oh, good heavens. Susie, you didn't do that.
No, of course I didn't.
Oh, George, whatever's happened?
There's a couple of minor accidents, Mrs. Lonsdale. All my own fault. Susie's been marvellous, actually. She's drove me to the hospital twice and cooked the supper, poured me a drink. It's really been a soul of kindness.
Oh, well, it's obvious that I needn't have rushed over.
Yes, well, come on,
but
Mother,
I'm not spoiling anything.
Yeah, I'm quite sure.
But don't you think perhaps you would like to stay with
Mother,
George?
Darling, why don't you go and have a nice long chat with Mummy?
Oh, well, I'll see you later, perhaps.
Well, I look forward to that.
Darling, I did interrupt something, didn't I?
Interrupt? Mother, have you forgotten that when you came in just now, I was crying?
Oh, so you were, darling. I wonder why.
Well, could it be anything to do with the fact that my marriage ended today.
Oh, nonsense, Susie. Now, I think that I ought to rush back and you ought to pop in and see if George is comfortable.
But less than an hour ago, you were telling me that you thought we were always unsuited.
Well, I was in a state.
And he shouted at you down the telephone.
Well, he was in a state.
Oh, we are divorced.
Well, darling, perhaps it's all to the good. You know what the song says. Love is lovelier the second time around.
George, what happened?
Nothing.
Well, what happened?
Hello, Dad.
I knew we were right to come down. I said so, didn't I? Is this what she did when she threw something at you?
No, listen.
Oh, don't try to shield her, George, you poor boy, living next door to an alcoholic. Is she there now? Dad, you just go right round there and give her a piece of our mind.
Oh, yes, but...
Oh, you'll be no good. How dare she?
Now, just a minute, Matt, will you...
Oh, son, you think you got problems?
Help yourself, Dad.
Yes, it's...
How dare you assault my son?
Dora!
I bet it took the two of you as well. Well, I'll tell you this. I am phoning the police station now and laying charges for assault and battery.
Mrs. Bassett, please don't rock the boat.
What do you mean? The boat's already been rocked and my son fell out.
They were accidents. George told me so himself.
Accidents, rubbish.
And my daughter was good enough to drive him to the hospital on both occasions.
2 accidents in one evening?
Yes, and they may have been blessings in disguise, Mrs. Bassett.
Blessings?
Yes, when I came in here, Susie was cooking George's supper.
No.
Yeah. The two of them were in there, a picture of domestic harmony just like the early days.
You don't say.
I do. Oh, Susie dear, why don't you pop next door and see if George is ready for his sweet?
He didn't ask for a sweet.
Oh, he always liked his fruit as a boy. Oh, and those sticky puddings.
Oh, jam roly-poly.
That and treacle tart.
Oh, spotted dick.
It's sunny soul for spotted dick.
Excuse me.
Oh, Susie, love, will you tell Eric to pop round here as well?
Oh, is Eric with you?
Yes.
Oh, how nice.
A real family get-together.
Not before time.
No, indeed.
Hey, all right, son?
Help yourself, Dad. Help yourself, yeah.
Hey, up, she's back. Oh, hello, Susie. Hey, you're looking well. I hope Mother didn't go off the deep end. George has been telling me about his accident.
They're getting on like a house on fire.
Oh, so everything in the garden's lovely.
She wants to see you.
Nothing I've done.
No.
Right. It shan't be long, lad.
All right, Dad.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, send in the troops.
Look, what's going on next door?
It is a meeting of the Marriage Guidance Council, and I'm too tired to argue.
Oh. Look, would you mind, Annie?
Oh, look, George, you're not supposed to drink after an injection.
I know, but... Oh, really?
Well, a very small one.
Thanks a
then.
lot, then. Look, why don't you have one?
No, thank you. On second thoughts.
Is that what they're doing in there, then? Slinging us together?
Yes, I think so. Oh, I can't say I blame them. Well, if we'd had kids and their marriage had gone wrong, I suppose we would have been exactly the same. What are you thinking?
Nothing.
Come on.
If we'd had kids. We never thought about that, did we? Do you think that's what the trouble was? Kids.
Oh, for heaven's sake, sit down, Eric. You make the place untidy.
There we are. Dora. Cheers. I don't want to count our chickens, Dora, but it does seem to me that a little push from us in the right direction.
Don't worry, I know what to say to George, eh, Dad?
And Susie always takes notice of me.
Well, what do you suggest?
Dad, we're talking.
Well, I think all those things that I said on the telephone about George.
What about George?
Oh, dear, the damage I might have done. I can hear myself saying them now.
What about George? You thought she might have done better for herself, did you?
What? No.
It seems to me you've said something like that before.
Oh, no.
Before the wedding.
Well, that was years ago.
Elephants and Dora Bassett. Don't forget. I wouldn't be surprised if you hadn't been putting your oar in right through the marriage.
Dare you?
Oh, be quiet, Mother.
Well, she has just admitted, saying on the phone this very evening.
And what did you say on the phone this very evening?
Dad.
You told George we never liked Susie.
I beg your pardon.
Wait till I get you home.
What do you mean you never liked Susie?
Well, all right, we didn't like her at first.
Well, you didn't like her tonight. And how dare you tell me not to put my oar in? What about your oar? Well, you ask me.
She's improved since she got married. She got away from you. She's even in there.
Susie, will you bear me out? Have I or have I not always hoped that you and George would be reconciled?
Yes, Mum, but...
And I have never put my oar in, have I?
Or...
From the very beginning, she said that Susie married beneath her. She's mixed it right from the start.
Mrs. Bassett, please don't talk like
Oh, and
that.
don't you get so high and mighty, miss. You threw something at poor George this evening.
Yes, but it was only a ring and it missed. Now, let's not say any more
Well,
about...
let her say what she likes.
She's been saying what she likes all the evening.
Oh, she can say what she likes against me, George, can't
No,
she?
of
Yes, I
course
should think
not.
so.
She kept her mouth shut just
And
for
what
one...
about your mother? Why doesn't she take a leaf out of your father's book?
Yeah, well, I think...
Oh, be quiet, Eric.
See what I mean?
I'm just saying don't insult my mother, Dad. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and let her insult my mother.
Well, get her out of the house, then.
Oh! Susie, I didn't start this.
No, I know you didn't.
Well, are you suggesting I did?
All I know is that he insulted my mother over the telephone tonight. Now, he must have learnt the art from somewhere.
I'm sorry, George, but I never did see eye to eye with that woman.
Okay, Mum.
And you know I wouldn't do anything to spoil things for you.
Susie, you know I wouldn't do anything to hurt you.
No, I know you wouldn't.
But I can't bear to leave you here. I think you should come home with me now.
All right, I will.
Good.
Your father and I'll look after you. Is there anything you want?
No, thanks,
How about a nice cup of coffee?
No, thanks,
Well, I'll
Mum.
tell you what, I'll make some and then perhaps you'll change your mind. Dad, put the kettle on. Oh, I'm so out that Susie spoke to you this evening. Well, there isn't one ounce of warmth or affection in her whole body.